Next on Binge with Baldrick.
From back when the dead brought it to life until this moment, let's enjoy a quick hocus pocus focus on Halloween.
This is Binge with Baldrick, the interesting show for curious minds and hungry hearts. Here now, a guy who's lived his entire life with artificial intelligence, Thomas Baldrick.
Greetings, friends. Much love and gratitude for being here. I am Thomas Baldrick. I woke up today. Life is good. I am Julian Baldrick's dad. I'm dressed up for the show. So let's go. While some might suggest I may be a bit of a weenie, this episode is anything but hollow. I'd honestly like to think you are in for some treats. First, a quick history of Halloween, but not a boring one. Much of it is stuff I never knew, and it was cool to learn. Maybe it'll be the same for you. Next, we'll try our luck with some quirky trick or trivia Halloween questions. And then I'll take you to a sleepy turned spooky suburban neighborhood, which is attracting thousands again this year. Along the way, let's see how many candy name drops you nerds can catch. With my kiddo at Halloween, I always allowed him and supported him to dress up as who or what he wanted. That made it more fun for both of us. And as a kid myself, I hated when my mother dictated my Halloween costumes. But enough about my dark history. Let's look at the history of Halloween. Relax, it won't even be long enough to need a Snickers bar for a pick-me-up. It is commonly believed the holiday originated with a word spelled Samhain. That is not a who, but rather a what. And it is not pronounced Samhain, but rather Samhain. The occasion of Samhain traces back as far as 600 AD. Credit to Gaelic Ireland for a Celtic festival celebrating the end of the harvest season before the long oncoming winter and the darkest time of the year. In Irish mythology, Samhain used the night of October 31st for blurring the line between the living and the dead. So much so that the doorway between the two worlds would open wide each year on that one evening. This allowed the souls of the dead and other supernatural beings to easily cross back over and return to our world again for a quick visit. One side note, multiple sources have confirmed to me ice agents were not yet invented. There have been some scholars who claim Halloween began as a Christian holiday connected to All Hallows Day on November 1st. Yet clearly the consensus indicates it was mainly a pagan holiday in Ireland and Scotland for centuries. Okay, smarties. Do you know how Halloween made it to the United States? Nope. It wasn't because of a Jolly Rancher or the Three Musketeers. Let's get serious. Sadly, Halloween came to the U.S. because of the luck of the Irish. Unfortunately, some really bad luck. The truly catastrophic event was called the Irish Potato Famine, also known as the Great Famine. It happened from 1845 to 1852. Potatoes were the daily go-to food for many Irish families. So when a deadly disease completely crushed the crop, it was devastating. Farmers themselves were all in on potatoes. They had no backup plan, and they didn't have the resources to create one. Furthermore, the British Empire was not interested in helping. It treated Ireland at the time like a hot potato. Estimates are that 1 million Irish people died from starvation and other illnesses as a result of the potato famine. To give you perspective, about 1 in 4 or 1 in 5 people in Ireland died as a result. Meanwhile, another million were able to escape the dire conditions. Many of those traveled to the United States as immigrants. These are the people who seem to have brought enough power for Halloween to catch on in America. As for the term Halloween, that does seem to have roots in Christianity. October 31st is the evening before All Hallows Day or All Saints Day. And for a long time, Did you know Halloween was spelled with an apostrophe after the first E? That would have no shot at survival in our world today. Absolutely no shot, since many people seem to have a spell cast upon them so they cannot properly spell. Now, if you're wondering, YOU apostrophe RE, if you're wondering when the heyday of Halloween was, we have to go back 100 years for that. During the 1920s and 30s, it was widespread fun for just about everyone. There were big parties and even bigger parades in communities as the holiday somehow shifted from the occult to more of a family friendly and community coming together event. Think about trying to reboot in the roaring 20s. It was following the First World War. So you can imagine how such trying times certainly brought to life the need for many people to enjoy even a brief escape from reality. The downside to the burst in Halloween popularity was that damage from vandalism and mischief was also widespread. It got so bad, Halloween itself almost left this world. So the scare of the holiday going away brought about a solution. In an effort to be sweet to neighborhood vandals, people began opening their homes to hand out goodies to trick or treaters. After some success, the way to keep property safe grew into a tradition. Homeowners, business owners, and local governments were all happier. Shortly after World War II, Halloween underwent another major shift. During the 1950s, it evolved more into a holiday mainly for children. Now, in hindsight, the world at that time had just been blessed with rock and roll. Therefore, turning something over to the kiddos seems only fair, doesn't it? However, I'm sure all that missing mischief wiped off a lot of smiles in the toilet paper industry. In the following decades, there were the occasional but high profile horror stories of real life monsters hiding razor blades in apples handed out to trick or treaters. The stories, and probably even more so the rumors about those, became the trailblazing events for Halloween to become all about pre wrapped or pre-packaged candy as it remains today. Now, there is a conspiracy theory for some red hots to explore. Over the years, just like you, I've seen Halloween evolve. It seems to me trick or treating isn't as big as it used to be. Even the hours of trick or treating in a one night event are condensed to about 2 or maybe 3 hours at the most. I remember as a kid in Philly, many would get going right after school. And look out, if Halloween landed on the weekend, some kids would be on a Candy Crush all day and night long. Also, back in the day, Halloween night wouldn't allow for many dark houses and locked doors. If people didn't choose to participate, those goobers would often get peer pressure from their neighbors. Or, coincidentally, perhaps next year, their house would be met with mischief, courtesy of Mike and Ike. In recent years, to compensate for the downturn in neighborhood participation on Halloween, the trunk or treating concept was rolled out in places such as church parking lots. This created a new, nice, safe setting for adults to gather while the Sour Patch Kids stayed close and they were able to collect candy from vehicle to vehicle. Wherever or whichever way Halloween 2025 gets done, the high price of candy sure isn't going to help things. Hubba, bubba. Still, the National Retail Federation projects candy sales this year of around 3.9 billion in the US. While overall, with costumes and decorations, the total payday jumps to 13.1 billion. What do you think about that? I don't know. Seems kind of high to me. So, before we see and hear about a happy Halloween neighborhood, let's unwrap a couple of trick or trivia questions and see how you do. Let's start with, where did trick or treating become really popular first? Was it Hershey, Pennsylvania, New York City, or Sugar Land, Texas? If you think about the Irish coming here, the answer is New York City. Pumpkins. They belong to what food group? Are pumpkins fruits, vegetables, or nuts and seeds? Pumpkins are a fruit. About how many pounds of candy corn are produced for Halloween? Is it 3.5 million pounds? Is it 35 million pounds? Or is 350 million pounds of candy corn produced for Halloween? The answer, 35 million pounds. Sticking with candy corn, the original name for it was A, tasty triangles, B, vampire teeth, or C, chicken feed. The answer, chicken feed. Last one. Which horror movie was the first to win the Oscar for Best Picture? This is a tough one. We'll do 4 for this last one. Was it A, John Carpenter's Halloween, B, The Silence of the Lambs, C, The Exorcist, or D, I Know What You Did Last Summer? All 4 classics. The right answer for the first to win the Oscar for Best Picture as a horror movie is The Silence of the Lambs. Anthony Hopkins and Jodie Foster were just great in that. Don't you think? All right, how did you do? Truth be told, I knew 2 of the answers. Now, before you silence me, would you take a moment to subscribe to Binge with Baldrick? You can do so on YouTube or the audio platforms where you get podcasts. If you like the show, subscribe. If you dislike me and you need someone to yell or curse at for stress relief, subscribe. Okay? Time now to take you to Mesa, Arizona, and a community called Santa Rita Ranch. Within the past 5 years, the right type of kids have moved into the neighborhood. They've gotten together and created quite a spark for spooky Halloween fun. Meet Alan Bloom. Thank you, sir, for your service in the United States Army. Alan and his neighbors across the street, the fun yet competitive Rowley family, became the head haunters of Santa Rita Ranch.
So we're about 3 years into Halloween being really big. It just gets bigger every single year. So I grew up in Chicago. My brother's birthday is on Halloween, so it was obviously a special day for him and for the family. But yeah, childhood memories in Chicago, trying to get through as many streets as you can to get candy, and just there was no walls. All neighbors were outside. Very sociable, friendly atmosphere, and you knew everybody on the street, in your whole neighborhood, actually, right? So I love that here in East Mesa, in this neighborhood in particular. We're all out on our streets. We're getting to know each other. We're socializing. We all take care of each other, and it's awesome. It's just like back home.
You know this is kind of rare, though, today for Halloween.
Yeah, I feel like it is. I see crime everywhere on TV, and there's a lot going on, and it's almost the right thing to do. It feels natural to me, and I want to keep that alive in our neighborhood, and it's contagious. Everybody wants to be a part of it, and it's spreading through our neighborhood, and I think it's great. But it is rare. Yeah, it is. But it's not hard to do. All you got to do is get out and meet your neighbor. Not just the children, right? You'll see kids smiling all the time. They come dressed up to see the decorations, not even on Halloween, right? We have a nursing home up the street. They literally bring their buses of elderly onto the street. They drive up and down the street to see the decorations. And man, you're not human if you don't tear up when you see it, because it's a beautiful thing. And we have some handicapped schools that come, a school for the deaf and blind come. So just to see these different people from all around the valley come here to see this neighborhood is super motivating, and it's rewarding.
Hello. Don't for a minute go judging that they sell snacks in Santa Rita Ranch as some sort of get-rich thing.
Product right now is expensive, so anything, right? We do hot dogs and pre-made everything, so candy is expensive. Last year we spent $2,900 on candy. So this year we expect to spend more. But again, our fundraising efforts, all our proceeds go to buy candy. I lose money every year. And then, of course, I add things every year, and then I get in trouble. So my wife is mad at me if I buy anything more. So whatever is donated to us on our sales goes to the event and to candy to the kids. Yeah.
Happy Halloween.
Happy Halloween.
Say hello to Russell O'Reilly, another nice Irishman. His family had always done Halloween decorations, but the O'Reillys ratcheted up a notch or 2 or 10 once the neighbors did.
It took off, and they just started getting more and more each year. So it kind of caught on with some of the other neighbors, and we started decorating a lot more. And then my neighbor across the street, Eddie, and his wife, they started decorating a lot. So we just kind of try to decorate as much as we can on our block.
How much work goes into this?
Halloween's really not that bad. We probably set up in about 2 days, maybe 3. This year I got a lot more new stuff. So I was buying a couple things and decorating and buying a couple more decorating. So I probably was decorating for about 6 days this year.
So what's the joy you get from this?
Honestly, it's just seeing the people come by and the faces on the kids, the faces of the kids and even the adults. The thanks we get from people. When I watched E.T. as a kid, all the people in the movie, to me, that's what this is like every night.
Here is Russell's neighbor across the street, Eduardo Barrios. His family moved from California right into the Halloween hype.
We love it. We love our neighborhood. We love our, neighbors. So now, we always talk to each other.
Brings people together, does it?
Oh yeah, it does a lot. Get them all together, with kids and friends and to meet other friends too and neighbors. Every year is something new with everyone and friends and family.
Oh, Henry, it's time for us to wrap up. Someone hit me with Swedish Fish or Twizzlers as a reward. Man, do I love them. I am defenseless when they're around. Anyway, I hope you loved or at least enjoyed and learned a little something with our Halloween fun. Thank you for sticking around and not being a milk dud. Regardless of whether you are sharing candy this year, I invite you to share Binge with Baldrick on social media. And if you are binging on leftover candy, well then, do it right. Mustn't let it go to waste. I'm Thomas Baldrick, Mr. Goodbar. Until next time, Godspeed, my friends. And if you look up into the sky, that is not Superman, and it certainly isn't a plane either. That is a bird. A Philadelphia eagle, in fact. Go Birds!